Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Loch Briar Knits coming to you from a sunny Nova Scotia, Canada, and I am going to move this a little bit. As you can see, if you're a returning viewer, we do have a little bit of a new setup and a little bit of a furry friend popping in for some attention. So the reason for that is it is 7:45 in the morning and I'm working from home today, but downstairs is a bit in my knitting room, office, is a bit of a mess. And I wanted to get this done today. So there may be a little bit of noise coming from the canine over here if she gets too noisy. I will put her in the kitchen. I wanted to get this done today so I have time to kind of edit it and get it up for Sunday morning. And it's Friday, July 23rd? Something like that. Thereabouts. It's Friday, I know that much. So welcome to all the new and returning viewers. Thanks so much for checking us out. And we are going to dive in because I have a finished object, a new object, and a whip in progress. So let's get going. Now, the first thing is the long-awaited finished stowaway chevron sweater, minus the chevron. So I think it's going to be a little too big, but I think I can still make it work. Now, I haven't blocked this yet. I didn't have time. This has like been one of those crazy weeks where it's like it's over and you're like, where did the time go? I'm just going to try this on for you because I just had it on briefly and then I was like, I'll block it and then I'll try it on. So this is knit out of Knit Picks. Let me get a little collar action going. So this is knit out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the Amber Heather colorway. So it does fit lengthwise. I think it's perfect. This is exactly what I want. I've got like several layers: tank top, shirt, sweater. Perfect summer attire. But as you can see, the sleeves are a little big, which isn't a huge deal. They are a little long, but I kind of cuff them like that, and then that kind of takes care of that. That one cuffed a little. So it's not a big deal. It's a little boxier than what I had intended. I was trying to judge it based on the fact that I didn't get gauge, and then I was trying to, I think I went up a sweater size and down a needle size or two, and I still didn't quite get gauge, but I figured it was close enough and we'd see how it went. But I do like this. Like, this is definitely going to get a lot of wear. And now that I see it on, now I haven't blocked it, so I'm not obviously going to block it very aggressively at all because I definitely don't want the sleeves to grow much. And this is the perfect length. I love this length. And I really like how the collar turned out. So this is actually going to be perfect to wear like with a shirt like this under it, because I kind of like, now I'm seeing this without my reading glasses on, so I could have this all twisted and ridiculous looking, but I actually really like this now that I see it on. Yeah, so I am really happy to have this off the needle. So I'm going to bring, I think we're back in the right spot, are we? There. So I'm actually going to take this off now because this is not middle of July attire. And what I did, I remembered to put a little tie in there so that I could find the front and back, because I'm really bad with that. Although this one actually, because of the shaping, it's when you hold it up, it's kind of obvious. So that is my one finished object. And like I said, I am so glad to have this off the needles because it was kind of languishing and it was was stupid. I just kind of like left it there and I was like, nah, I don't feel like knitting on that. I want to do something new. And then I got sucked into the half and half wrap, which was a little bit of its own disaster. Not a disaster, it was just more of a comedy of errors. Not even errors, really. More just like, I'll link to it here if you want to see the crazy comedy. Okay, yes, we know you're there. You're so needy. Next up, yes, I know. Shh, podcasting. Doggus Interruptus. So that was the Stowaway Chevron sweater by Marie Green of Olive Knits. And my new cast on is, I was going between the Puntilla and the Coastal Crop Raglan by Tiff Nealon, and I really wanted to knit with the Hypothesis yarn, so which is what I had flagged for this one. So I cast this on, and I have to say, first off, if you ever get a chance to knit with Hypothesis yarn, do it. It's just lovely. It's like knitting with it is a dream, and the colors are just phenomenal. I clipped a little light bulb stitch marker on there so I know where the back is. But this is how far I have come. I think I've just finished all of the increases. So now I'm ready to separate, I think, for the sleeves, if I remember correctly. So I do think there's some eyelet shaping, and I don't know how well that's going to show there, kind of along the raglan increases for the top, kind of like closest to the collar section. I think I mucked it. I can't remember which side I mucked up, but I did, like, I think one of the holes is a little off, and I'm not sure, I can't remember which one it is, but I'm not 100% sure, and I can't really expand it right now because it's on like needles. So I can't expand it enough to find out which side might be, and so I'm not entirely sure if I did muck it up. I think it's this side that I sort of mucked the eyelets up a bit. Because there seems to be like these ones, I don't know how well this is showing up, but there's a line of them here, but then there's this rogue one over here that seems a little bigger than the other ones. So I don't know if I accidentally, that's definitely not supposed to be like that. So I might go in afterwards and just see if I can do a little sweater surgery on that. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do, but I'll figure something out just to close that up a little bit. But the pattern is very straightforward. It's really well written. The yarn is an absolute dream to knit with. Like, I absolutely love it. And I have more of her yarn. I have a feeling I'm going to be adding to my stash. So this is in the Lyra or Lyra, I'm not sure how you say it, colorway, and it's on her Tweedy DK base. And it's just, oh my God, I love it. I will be doing the helical knitting now that I've reached the part where I'm done doing the raglan increases, because I wasn't quite sure if I'm doing the helical knitting. When I got to the increases where I had to knit in the front and back, how that would quite work. So I just was increasing coming up the side along here, so it doesn't even really show, which is great. Or not increases, switching the yarns. I'm switching the yarns every second row, so you can kind of see. Now this is the first time I've done this. I've never knit a sweater with hand-dyed yarn. I've always used commercially dyed yarns. So this is my first time actually switching yarns for knitting a sweater. So now that I'm getting into the body, I'm going to start doing the helical method instead of just in the same spot, just so I don't get that line, you know. That's probably going to get some work this weekend. I haven't done anything on my birch bark, is it just called the birch bark shawl? I'm leaving out a word, I feel. I've been in a shawl knitting mood lately. I'm not sure why. Usually I like, maybe, actually I think I do know why. Because I think the half and half wrap took that out of me. I think I need a break from shawls. That's, I think, just going to be on the back burner for a little bit. And I'm going to concentrate on my sweaters, especially where I want to do a sweater in a month. And technically, August hasn't even started, so I'm already ahead of the game because I was going to start that in August. This is all I have left from the Stowaway Chevron yarn supply, so that's not too bad. That was pretty bang on. I was keeping the chevron sweater in my Fringe Supply town bag. So the other thing is I'm doing another loose sock. So I measured my last pair that I knit, and this is my very scientific measurement. It goes from my elbow to the first joint in my thumb. So that's how much further I have knit on the body or the leg of the sock. It's a tube top. And then I can start the heel flap and gusset. So this is based on the loose sock pattern by Casual Fashion Queen. And I kind of follow the leg part that she gives, and then I switch over and I do my vanilla sock pattern for my foot shaping. So that's going to come with me because that's kind of a good mindless knit. And that, oops, it's like a water frame. That is all that I have on the go right now. Oh my God, people, I'm going to see if I can show you this. Like, can we see this? Is that not the saddest thing? So that's all I have on the needles right now that I've been working on. I finished that, so that was good. Like, I felt really good getting that off the needles. But yeah, it's just been the sweater and then the socks. So there's really not a whole lot of news. I do think what I might do is once I finish this sweater, I'm going to, I think, start the puntilla. This is the Illimani Echo Llama, and this is their light gray base. I don't know what that is. And it's actually like, I think I showed it on the last podcast. It's got kind of shiny, sandy kind of undertones to the gray. I think what I'm going to do is when I start this, I'm also going to start the sweater, super simple summer sweater that my mom wants me to knit her for Christmas out of their Bernat Baby Soft yarn, which I'm really not looking forward to. Now I could start knitting with that and it'll be fine. It's just, I'm not a big fan of knitting with synthetic yarns now that I've started knitting with like kind of natural fibers. I'm probably just being a yarn snob. It'll be fine. But she also, my mom really likes kind of pastel colors, and I hate pastel colors. I'm hoping that the striping in the super simple summer sweater will make it so that it will be more enjoyable in the sense that I'm like, okay, let's see, like you enjoy, it's like when you do striping socks. And it was the same way when I did I've done what, 2 versions? No, I've done 3 versions of the super simple summer sweater. I find like when you're knitting it, you just want to get that stripe done, and they're thicker stripes. I'd say they're probably like about that thick. But it's like the same way with striped socks, is where, you know, you just want to get to the next stripe and the next stripe and the next stripe. So I'm hoping that will push it along. So what I might do is do the puntilla and then in between each stripe, if that makes sense, just to kind of get me going on it. Which, speaking of the super simple summer sweater, I made 3 versions. One I made out of a cotton blend, which was the last one I made. I absolutely loved the colors. It was a light gray and a dark gray, and the colors were beautiful. I hate how the yarn draped, and I find with cotton, any little mistake or imperfection or stitch that's a little off shows up like somebody's got a spotlight on it. And then I didn't like the drape. It just felt sloppy, which was really kind of annoying because I loved the colors so much and I really wanted I was kind of hesitant making a sweater out of a cotton blend, but I just love the colors so much. So if I were to find those colors again in wool, I'd be all over that. So I ended up donating that. That went in the donate bin. The other super simple summer sweater I wore, or that I knit, was in Wool Local by Erica Knight, and it was in the pink and light gray. Now, I'm not a pink fan, you've probably, if you've watched this podcast for any length of time, you will know that. But it was kind of a grubby pink, and I liked the combination with the gray. But I made this a size, I sized up a bit, one size, I think, because the first sweater I did, yes, we hear you, the first super simple summer sweater I did was in a dark gray and a blue out of Wool Local by Erica Knight as well. And I loved it. And it was kind of hit right on my hip bone. But I wanted to do one that was, and it was a bit of it wasn't a tight fit, but it was a tighter fit than the pink and gray one. So I wanted to make one that was a little roomier and maybe just a bit longer, because at the time I was thinking that one felt too short, which it doesn't now. I love the length of it. I don't know. I don't know. Yes, we hear you. Shh, hush. Zip it, zip it. Okay, you can come get some love. I ended up sizing that up, and then I made it, I think, one stripe longer. So it would have been about this much longer than the previous sweater. And it was fine, but every time I wore it, I felt frumpy in it. And I think it was just because it was a looser fit and it went too long. And I just felt every time I wore it, I couldn't find a combination of pants or tights to go with it that didn't make me feel frumpy. So that went in the donate bin. I now have one super simple summer sweater. And I know that the size I did that one in and the length I did it in are perfect. And I love that sweater. And I may make another one for myself, keeping with that size range and length. The other things that went in the donate bin that I've knit was I knit the Granito by Helical, and I didn't like the fit of it on me. And I also knit it in this purple colorway, which I think was called Indigo Heather. I think they called it Indigo. It was purple. And it was Knit Pick Stroll Tweed, I believe. And I think it was called the Indigo Heather colorway. But it was not, to me, indigo. It was just purple. I have discovered that I do not like wearing purple. I love to look at purple. I can see purple skeins and go, wow, that's beautiful. I would wear it in socks. I would wear it in a scarf. I do not like purple sweaters on me. So I was not wearing it, and I wasn't crazy about the shape. Again, I felt kind of frumpy in it. So I think, and it was kind of past the hip bone. So I think for me, maybe because I'm 5'2" and not, you know, I don't have a whole lot of length to work with, that I need to keep it kind of at sort of like the length that showed on the stowaway sweater. I wouldn't go any longer than that for me for a sweater. So that one went in the donate bin. The other one that I really hesitated to put in the donate bin was the Rachel by You and I Knits. And I love the sweater. I love the structure. I love the length of it. What I didn't like, well, I liked the yarn that I knit it with, but it wasn't the right yarn. Would you stop? Quiet time. I didn't like the drape of the yarn for that sweater. It was too drapey. I needed something with more structure to kind of show up the detailing that was around the middle, and it just, I wasn't wearing it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to donate this as well. Let somebody else, you know, wear it and love it. And I would really like to reknit that sweater though, because I love it, but I would do it this time in a yarn that had a bit more structure and less drape to it. I still have my weekender. I keep that at the summer house, and that's a good kind of warm sweater to throw on. But again, it's one where the length is too long. And so I feel frumpy in it. So I think if I were to make the weekender again, which I do plan to, I am going to make it, I think I'm going to make it the size down and shorten the length like about that much. So I know now when I'm making a sweater, and this is kind of, I guess, all the process. I'm fairly new to sweater making. I've only been doing it for maybe 2.5 years. Is kind of learning what works for your body and what your preferences are when you're knitting it. So I know I like my sweaters to have enough structure in the yarn to hold the shape. I mean, I don't like them stiff, obviously, but I do want it to hold the shape that the sweater is meant to have. And I know that my hip bone is the stop. That's the stop point. The length should not go past my hip bone, because if it does, then I just feel frumpy in it and I won't wear it. So these are the things I've learned. So I didn't have a lot of content to show you, but I did have a little sweater knitting chat to have. And I think we're starting to lose our natural light because the sun is starting to shift over to the back of the house now. And it is 8:30, so I need to get ready for work and let you guys go. So thanks so much for checking out episode 101, which I think I totally forgot to say at the beginning of the episode. And I hope you guys are liking the new format with the alternating. I mean, we've just started, but alternating like a regular podcast episode like this and then the vlog cast on the alternating weeks. Comment down below if you guys can give me any hints on what you've learned in your sweater knitting journey, or if you are just starting your sweater knitting journey and what you're knitting. And any other comments, drop them below. I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps us get the word out and let you be notified when we have new episodes coming out. We, plural, me, myself, and I. And hopefully this new setup wasn't too jarring, and with the puppy Interruptus. So anyways, I'm hoping on the next episode, I'm going to try to have that, the coastal crop raglan almost done. That's what I'm going to do. I've got 2 weeks. I've done a sweater in 2 weeks before, and we're about to see if that can happen again. And technically I have a bit of a head start because I'm already down to here on it. So, and now the yarn is such a dream that once I start knitting with it, I don't want to stop. So that's working in my favor. Also, just to mention, the shop, Loch Briar Knits, still has some stock in it. I'm going to be restocking probably I'm going to be dying over the next month for the fall restock, but there's some summer colorways and some of my regular colorways in there now. And if you're on Ravelry, I am doing a destash because I've come to the conclusion that I have yarn that I'm just not going to knit with because I have too much knit and I need too much knit. I have too much yarn and I need to pare down. So I am doing a destash over on Ravelry, and my username is Loch Briar, and I've got all my links and all that stuff down below. All the patterns and the yarn I've used will also be mentioned down below. So I will see you guys for a regular podcast in 2 weeks, and I will see you on the vlogs next week. So until then, happy knitting, and I will see you soon. Bye.